night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night, sweetheart. Good night. What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Friday. Friday. It's Friday, and it's a moving weekend for me, and I absolutely hate moving, man. There's nothing I hate more, I feel like. I mean, I hate a lot of things, don't get me wrong. I hate the dentist. I hate the doctor. But moving is definitely the top of my list. Like, I can't stand moving. I can't stand packing. I don't like unpacking when I get off on vacation. Like, because I'm such a person that likes my life in order. And when my life is not in order, it literally drives me a little bit insane. So, yeah. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm gonna try and not dwell on it too much. I actually got some rest today, which was nice. I normally never take naps, and I took a nap today. Like, my brain really shut down, which I'm thankful for. I'm glad with my brain decides to power itself off, because I won't. I don't have the possibility to do this. I was reading an article where they said if you soak your feet in hot water, it'll make you tired before bed. But I'm like, where am I supposed to get the hot water at? Because by the time I get the tub, put my feet in the hot water, and then your feet gonna be all wet. It just seems like a whole process. It sounds great, if I was rich and someone could come to the side of my bed with some hot water and bathe my feet. Yeah, I feel like that would make me really tired. But just reading that article alone is just it's just a lot, but that's what it is. The article put me to sleep because for some reason I felt like, that sounds good, and it made me tired. Me and my dog was knocked out. My dog, she sleeps like she got 5 jobs, and I'm like, I get so envious of her. It's like, how does she do it? And she absolutely does it. Let's see what's going on in the news. Some woman pulled up to the mini market where that $1 billion Powerball ticket was sold and said she was the winner, but then she ran off. I don't know if she was doing it for publicity or not, but who knows. A Nebraska teenager who used abortion pills to terminate her pregnancy was sentenced to 90 days in jail after she pleaded guilty earlier this year for illegally concealing human remains. She got 90 days in a slammy. See what else we got going on here. The Writers Guild is still in strike. The Barbie movie and all that crap. So I have no desire to see that movie. I can tell you guys, none. I don't even think if it came on a regular TV, I'd watch it. I have no desire to that. I was never a Barbie fan. Still a heat wave. Meteorologists say Earth sizzled to a global heat record in June and July. And yeah, everybody's hot. It's more than a degree Celsius hotter than normal. Florida babysitter is accused of manslaughter after the 10-month-old in her care died after being left in a hot car. Dang. Google says it is working with partnership with new publishers to explore how AI tools can help journalists. Another farm worker in South Florida has died while on the job as the region has endured more than 37 consecutive days of hot temperatures. NFL released a 23-page report detailing how alleged sexual harassment and financial impropriety just minutes after its owners approved the sale of the team to Josh Harris. So, Commanders The Commanders owner, Dan Snyder, was fined $60 million, and then I guess he sold the team. Dang. He probably should have sold it way before that, huh? Kamala Harris is going to Florida to deliver critical remarks in response to the Board of Education's approval of new standards of how Black history will be taught in schools. I say teach your kids yourself, honestly. Schools really should only teach like math, science, biology, crap like that. Leave the history to the parents for real. Because to me, only parents mostly know their family history unless you're like adopted or something. And even, it's just too much, it's too many tools and libraries and things that you could, if you really wanted to teach your children about their heritage and their history, parents could do it themselves. Violent crime in first half of the year is down in 37 cities across the U.S., but remains above pre-pandemic levels, according to a new report. So I guess in the pandemic, people just wasn't killing people like that. The Defense Department has no plans to stop covering the travel costs of female troops who seek abortions across state lines. Army Secretary Christine Wormer said no plans to change abortion policy despite GOP demand. A new Jason Aldean music video has drawn widespread controversy, in part for featuring a Tennessee courthouse that is known as the site for lynching that happened a century ago. I don't know who this dude is, but they keep talking about that. If you guys are interested enough, I don't care enough. People like to put out these race baiting songs and these just songs to get people talking, and I don't know, maybe I'm just too old, I just don't care enough. The nation's second largest teachers union says it's losing patience with social media apps that says are contributing to mental health problems and misbehaviors in classrooms nationwide, draining time and money from teachers and school systems. What can you do? Really, it's kind of impossible. Yeah. Really a lot of a suspected Texas serial killer who allegedly confessed to 2 murders earlier this year may be linked to yet another case after investigators found a possible grave site and clothing during search. A shooting Wednesday afternoon at a South Florida Walmart killed 1 person and wounded another. You know, I did go to Walmart today. I did go there. I get in and get out though. I try to go when there's like absolutely nobody there, which for Walmart, that's not an easy task. So when I navigate it, I purposely go. It's like, I mean, it's a quiet news day for the most part. Ariana Grande is dating her Wicked co-star following split from hubby. That guy looks so weird, but Ariana, she's got weird taste in men. Vanna White, partial deal signed with Will. It's going to get ugly if Sony doesn't get more generous. So Vanna White staying on. I hate that they're bringing Ryan Seacrest on. Like, I do not care for that man. Looks like all the winning big Powerball tickets are sold in that at that California place. It seems they've struck gold twice. So I guess if you were ever out at that market, I mean, you still only got like a 1 in, so it's a lot. Let's get into Reddit, see something going on. Do you consider a man on disability to be a deal breaker? It depends on what his disability is. I always used to say I wanted a man in a wheelchair, but I don't want to, like, long as he can, like, take care of himself for the most part. Like, I don't want to have to be wiping his butt. Like, I need a man with strong arms that can still do that part. But I mean, a man with a disability can't be that bad. Now, if he has a mental disability, that's a different story. Somebody said, my current partner, 37, lives with his brother and sister-in-law, will be on disability for the rest of his life and can't do a lot of things on his own, like cook. He's been disabled since birth, so this isn't something that happened after we met or anything. I love him to bits, and his financial living situation don't bother me at all. A lot of people said they would take a man on a disability. I mean, he gonna have a check coming, that's for sure. I think, like I said, you just got to know what his illnesses are. And yeah, if it's mental illness, that one can be tricky. And then they have to constantly keep getting their disability renewed. And if they do have mental illness, that means they have to constantly be proven that they're crazy, right? My girlfriend says she always has a tampon instead of tracking. How common is this? I think for me, my period is very regular, even after all these years, and I'm old, and I still get it, which is crazy. But I mean, when women use those tracking calendars and stuff, I think that's interesting, because I can always kind of tell what's going on with my body before it happens, so, a lot of women are on her for the tampon. They're like, why are you using the tampon? I wouldn't use a tampon. That is wild. That's the most dangerous part of that statement. Let's see what else we see in this thing. What's the biggest hint you've ever missed from a woman? See dudes. Eat her cake next time. After a date, I drove a girl back to her apartment. As I pulled to stop out front, she smiled and asked if I wanted to come inside. I lulled and said, nah, I have a big day at work tomorrow and I wanted to use the remainder of the evening to prep for that, which is absolutely true. She frowned, sat there for a second, reluctantly got out the car, then leaned a little bit so that her boobs hung down into my car. Are you sure? We can relax and hang out a while. I thought that was oddly persistent of her, but I repeated the work thing and said we can hang out another time. She looked disappointed as she shut the door and slowly trudged back into her apartment. 5 or so years later, I realized that she wanted what she wanted. I didn't kick myself about it because I don't think we were a good match anyway, which is why we stopped dating. But I did feel kind of stupid for not picking up on what she actually wanted. Dude, you was blind, and I can read that and tell what the heck the girl wanted. Straight men who are in a serious monogamous relationship, married, what are your personal rules for complimenting the physical appearance of other women? My husband's good on this. He won't. He won't. I even try to trick him up, like, you know, he's like, not like, if I be like, babe, that's a cute hair color, he'll be like, not as cute as, like, my husband. I don't know if it's because he's previously married, but he's very good at not letting me slip him up, and I've tried, believe me. Somebody said I just comment on haircut, jewelry, stuff like that, but not appearance. That's a nice color jacket. I like your shoes, your new haircut. Nothing I wouldn't say to a man about his appearance. I usually try to keep respectful and say something like "Kong Kong" while staring at their chest. Yeah. Some men are terrible. I know a lot of men that'll compliment, and girls will be, I mean, they'll pretend. I know some women that really aren't okay with it, but I know a lot of dudes that'll compliment a girl's body right in front of they woman. What is a dead giveaway that someone is an only child? Selfish, just selfish as heck. Thinking friendship is like having siblings. It's not. I would rather smash a toy on my friend's head and expect them to speak to me after. From personal experience, food habits. Yeah, the way people eat and like don't share or don't like to share. And just people that always want to like get their way all the time. I feel like you didn't have siblings growing up. Like just a me person. What was ruined for everyone by one single person? Always an employee. Always somebody. We had a dude on my job, and like everybody left early. Like my manager knew that people snuck out early. We had like overlapping shifts, so she knew or whatever. But this dude literally asked, could he leave early? And she said no. And then he decides to say, well, you let everybody else leave early. Instead of just leaving early, of course she's not going to say yes. Like, it's just a most known unknown, like, people like him. But yeah, it's always freaking coworkers. Somebody said somebody named Adolf Hitler ruined something. The guy who attempted to smuggle a bomb in a shoe in 2001. Yeah, that dude. He messed it up for everybody with the shoes. Yeah, it's always some coworker that messes it up for everybody. Like, they take it way too far. They mess with the whole system of getting over. Like, you can get over, but don't get crazy. Alright, let's get into these story times, my friends. Let's see what we got today. Oh, this story made me pissed. I don't even know if I can watch it again, but I'll play it for y'all. It's this lady that was getting beat on Oprah. Her husband was going upside her head, and her kids were filming it. It was crazy, but here we go.
And you enjoy getting your strong because that's obvious. Yes, you do.
Because you know it provokes it. You do it anyway.
You do it anyway. You know. I said no. What did I say?
He said, why would you want to make me some food? He said, I'll manage to get some food. Was basically saying no.
Yeah.
And then she just stood there.
Yeah. See, you stood there waiting for something else to surface. So what you think she's up to if she's going to keep doing that?
Like I said before, I think she was trying to get you sent to jail or something.
But that ain't going to happen.
I think.
That her little plan ain't going to work.
So, coming up next, first of all, let me ask you this. When you would hear your son participating and saying and responding and saying things like, I think she's just trying to provoke you, what would you feel?
Oh, I felt devastated. I felt hurt inside. I felt my children didn't love me anymore. But at the same time, I knew that my children needed to do what they needed to do to survive in that house. And if that meant they needed to side with the power, then that's what they had to do.
And this whole argument that started about you not bringing the food turned into you don't love your children. So in front of your children, he's saying you don't love your children.
Oh, yeah.
We'll come back and look at some of that tape. Coming up next, the violence escalates as Susan's son, 13 years old at the time, continues to tape, and the shocking events that happen after the camera stops rolling. doing this show today, as I've done many others, because I want to liberate any woman who is watching this and sees herself in Susan. Susan still says that for more than 10 years, she was emotionally and physically abused by her husband. 51 minutes of that abuse were captured on home video. The tape was shot by their own 13-year-old son. Susan is sharing this footage because she believes it could save someone else who is out there watching. But be aware, it is not suitable for young children.
What I've been telling you to do, follow the rules of the house, and you gonna sit up there and tell me you don't know what to do. No, wait a minute, you gonna tell me you don't know what to do. No, even talking to me, you know what to say to me. You've been taught what to say to me, Heifer. You gonna sit down there and lie and say you don't know what to do? You see how she insult me?
Yeah.
Don't tell me she don't know what to do. You break all the damn rules in this house, and you gonna sit over there and keep lying as you getting your whooping on the floor. You don't know what to do. You follow me to the T. You follow what I say to the T. T. You know what to do. I waste my time telling you what to do. Break all the rules on something to my you don't know what to do. I tell you to follow me to the T. Don't I? Don't I? Get your off that floor and sit up, stand up, and tell me you don't know what to do again. You stand up and tell me you don't know what to do again, Heifer. You stand up and say it again, you don't know what to do. You follow me to a T. Sit your stupid on that thing. You follow me to the T. You understand what T means? Do you understand what T means? Now tell me again you don't know what to do. Tell me again you don't know what to do. You do what?
Follow you to the T.
Look at me, bitch. You don't know what to do? You don't know what to do? Huh? Then why you say something stupid like that to me? You don't know what to do. Look at your stupid. Look at the way you look. Look at the way you look. You can say some dumb things to me. You know you have a nerve about your stupid. You have a stupid nerve about your stupid self. And you don't learn after I beat you all the time. You do not learn. Get back up on the bed and try it again. And I better see some respect coming out of that face of yours. You get your back up on that bed and try it again, Heifer. You don't know what to do? You don't know what to do?
Yes, I do. Follow you to the T.
So, anybody watching and you see yourself in that piece of film, this is your day to make a plan. Before that attack, Susan had suffered serious injuries from other beatings. So what was going on through your mind?
During that, survival. A lot of it was survival. A lot of it was, I don't want my children to be here and keep seeing me, being hurt.
I think we have that clip where you're saying, I don't want to, please don't do this in front of the children. And then that aggravates him even more, saying,
You can never say the right thing.
okay,
Whatever
let's take a look
you
at that.
choose.
Let's take a look at that.
I see what you're going with this. I see what y'all don't want them to keep seeing it. I see where you're going, and this got to do with somebody at work.
That's not. I don't have anyone.
Heifer lying.
Anyone.
Where she's trying to go with this? I don't want them to keep
I
seeing
don't
it.
want them to keep seeing it.
But you keep doing it. Tell that lie again.
So he is claiming that you have someone at work that you were seeing.
There's always accusations of infidelity. Always. Over the years, there's a list of people that he felt I had affairs with. And the one thing that abusers will do.
Had you ever had an affair?
Never, ever had an affair. Never. The things that abusers get you with, the main two things, that you're cheating on them and that you're a bad mother. Those two things will rip a woman apart inside, and they know it. And so they do it just to berate you, just to put you down here where they want you.
At the time, on the day that was filmed, how long had you been married to him?
We had been married 14 years. We had been together for 24 years.
Been together for 24 years. So on the day that this was filmed, how long had he been verbally and physically abusing you?
The physical abuse started about a year and a half to 2 years before this. The verbal and emotional abuse, the control, I want to say, started immediately in the relationship. But you don't see it as control.
Tell this audience what you told me during the commercial break. You were saying that you had seen a show of mine.
I had seen a show of yours.
I'm surprised you'd be allowed to watch the show.
And, well...
to watch the Oprah show in secret.
Right.
But you had seen a show of mine, and a woman was on.
There was a woman on, and I don't remember the show.
It's okay.
I just have her picture in my face. And she was talking about a boyfriend she had who had alienated her from her friends and family. And I remember watching the show, and he had done this to me. But I watched the show, and I said, I wonder if that's what he's doing to me.
I wonder?
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he's doing to me. And then I said, no, I don't.
And at this time,
so.
you were what? Not allowed to see your family, or had restrictions on when you could see your family?
It was done. What he would do would be to plant seeds in my head that would tell me that my family didn't care about me.
The same thing he was doing with your children, with you.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I watched that, and I thought, no. And I look back at it now, and I never forgot it. It was something that would continually, that particular thing, over the years, it would come back up in my mind. But it's like you can be right in that relationship. You can be in an abusive relationship, and you can see it for somebody else. You can watch somebody else go through it. And I was one of those people. Why doesn't she leave? Why doesn't she go? And I was right in it.
Wait a minute.
I was right in
Wait,
it.
hold on. You would say that about other women?
I could absolutely say that about other women, and I was experiencing it because it was at that time control and emotional abuse and not physical abuse. And so I didn't view it as abuse.
Yeah. So as long as you weren't being hit,
yes,
you could say, well, at least I don't get hit.
Right.
I'm not like those women.
Right.
Who allow
And he
themselves
does
to be
it. What he does, what he says to me is because he cares about me. He worries about me. He doesn't want anything to happen.
And ass and bitch and all of it.
That was crazy. And the fact that her sons filmed it, that guy ended up getting like 21 years, and he was like some famous like musician. And the son went on to be an actor on that show Manifest, but I hope the son got therapy, because that's just so weird, like to film your mom getting beat, because he was literally filming the lady getting beat up by their dad. That was just crazy, and encouraging him to do it. And for me, I couldn't date somebody like that. That was like it was just too weird, too eerie. I mean, the dude, I think he got out in 2022, but Oprah had some wild shows back then. I didn't remember it being that crazy, but yeah, that was a very crazy show.
The new president of the United States of America. Oh, my bad. I'm just telling y'all what The Simpsons and everybody else is predicting. I know what y'all thinking. Why would this grown man think that The Simpsons is predicting this woman to be the president? I mean, they did predict somebody else to be president, and then he really became president. But some people don't think that's weird. Also, in that episode, do anybody remember what she said when she became president?
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
Now, ain't that strange? She predicted she would be president right after Trump.
We'll nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male and a vice president a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law, her constitution. Kamala Harris will briefly become president, but the only way that in their party they can replace a woman of color is with another woman of color. And yes, you heard it here first. The Democratic nominee for president will be Michelle Obama. They have already rigged their primaries.
Excellent question. Yes, I am proud to be America's first straight female president.
Will the Simpsons be right again, my friends?
My dad?
Well, my mom and dad, my mom sent me to my dad when I was like 2, so I was living with my dad.
Okay.
I was pretty much raised by my grandmother.
Where was your mom and dad?
My parents were mainly incarcerated in and out of prison.
And so your mom gave you up. Why?
Because she wasn't ready for kids. So my dad just took the responsibility.
She was young, or she was?
Yeah, she was young.
She was young. Okay. How young was she?
Well, I was 17.
17.
Yeah, my dad was 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe your childhood?
It was like the black sheep. I'm a black sheep. So like I raised that was like to myself, raised myself on my sexuality, and then being molested by my mom's brother.
At what age?
5.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I didn't let like my dad know until I was 13. So
rough childhood.
Yeah. So I hit it when I was 16. He gave me an ultimatum: change my sexuality or get out. I chose to leave. So I've been hitting the streets since then.
Wow. It's a hard ultimatum. You can't just change that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Easily, right?
Well, pretty much me, like I said before, I grew up with my grandmother. My parents sold drugs. So we were like, I experienced like getting the raid, like my father getting raided and shit. And my dad left when I was like 14 and he went to prison. And my mom, it was either him or my mom that was gonna like, cause they were under, the feds were watching them or whatever the case may be, but it was either him or her, so she had to like, get on the stand and, so I pretty much grew up with my grandmother. My mom and my dad was always in jail. Mm-hmm.
How far are you guys going to school?
I graduated and I did some college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was put out of the city schools. So I never made it to high school, so I had to go to job court. And I had to do like the 10th, 11th, 12th grade in 1 year. And then I got my nursing license. And while I was doing those 3 years.
You worked as a nurse for a while?
CNA, yeah. I had to quit.
What about you, Shay?
Me, I didn't graduate. I dropped out when I was in like 9th grade. I started, you guys call it prostitution. I call it,
what do you call it?
Companionship to men. Yeah, but
entertaining men, I call it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so I ended up dropping out or whatever, and I just started living the street life because my grandmother, she only could afford like certain shit growing up, and I always wanted the best, so I guess I had to go get it by any means like that.
Right. Where'd you guys meet?
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan, yeah.
So you call yourself sisters, but you're not really sisters.
No.
Yeah, that's my sister.
You're just friends.
No, that's
No,
my
we're
sister.
sisters.
That's my
Yeah,
sister.
You're a biological sister?
No.
I got it. Okay. So you're sisters.
Yeah.
Got it. And you came to LA when?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
And
We went to Atlanta first, though.
Yeah. We used to take the map. Wherever the coin dropped, is a city, is a state we just up and just went to, like
Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, LA.
Yeah.
You like rough cities.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're staying on Skid Row now?
No, right now I just got houses, so we have an apartment now.
You've been on the streets before that?
Yeah, I've been on the streets since I was 16.
Really?
Same year.
In a tent or what?
I just did the tent like the last past 2 years when I got in a relationship with someone. But before that, it was just homeless. I just didn't do the streets, the tent thing. But I've been homeless since I was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, No tent. But I pretty much been in the streets. I just, like I said, I always hustled, kept a room and things like that. When we came here, I was staying in Oklahoma and I almost got married to a certified electrician, and, he found out I was prostituting, and I was with him for like 2.5 years, right before I moved here to LA. I was here before she came.
And so you guys, how are you supporting yourselves now?
Right now,
entertaining men still?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's a lot of things I do. You
can make good money doing that here.
Yes. With no distraction.
Do you have distractions?
No. I'm my biggest distraction.
What about drugs?
Drugs, yes. I dabble in that. Who don't?
So, crystal meth?
Excuse me?
Crystal meth?
I wouldn't necessarily say crystal meth. I'm gonna say I'm hardcore with that. Yeah. I live a fast life. Yeah. But yeah. Crystal meth is
Crystal meth is a popular drug with
it is.
The trans community.
That was like the first thing they asked us when we got off the plane. Like, it's like the thing to do now, I guess.
Yeah. That's not what you do, how you do it, I guess.
Are you guys happier in LA than you were in other cities?
Yeah. It's just way faster. Yeah, I learned a lot. I'd have been in prison. Since I've been here, I done confidence. A lot of things I've learned, I'm still learning to this day.
What were you in prison for?
Someone put their hands on me, assaulted me, so I made altercation.
Say how you said, GB what?
A great bodily assault with a deadly weapon.
I interrupted you. You were saying you
Life of a prostitute out on the street. A transgender prostitute. Yeah, they love that crystal meth. Don't do drugs, kids.
Danielle.
Hello, hi. How are
old
you?
are you?
I'm 23.
Are you originally from Arizona?
No, I'm not.
Where are you from originally?
Washington State.
And what brings you all the way down here to Arizona?
I had a sugar daddy, and he was taking care of me and my child, and I had to get an ID check for my apartment, and they didn't allow me to stay with his ID under the apartment because they needed mine as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it, so I lost my apartment that he was paying for, and me and my son were just staying in, who is 6, and I was homeschooling him.
Okay. And what happened to your son? Where's he at now?
With my dad.
Is he back in Washington?
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
How'd you manage to send him out there?
To manage to send him out there was my dad came and picked him up. My dad picked him up.
And why didn't you go out there with your dad as well?
My dad has his own things going on. My dad's a hard worker. My dad has a lot of priorities. He's about to get married and so on and so forth. And so he's got responsibilities, and that's,
So what are you doing out here to survive?
I'm waiting for an ID, and then I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna get an apartment.
What kind of work experience do you have?
Cooking in fast food. I was a stripper, and yeah, that's about it.
How long did you do those jobs for?
Year to less than a year.
Yeah, how was it? Did you like the cooking better or the stripping?
I didn't really like any of it. I really personally didn't like any of it.
And what kind of job are you trying to get right now?
To start out, it'll probably be fast food. And then I'll go to college.
So you're planning on going back to school?
Yeah.
That's good. What do you do right now? Where do you sleep at? Do you have a tent, or do you sleep like behind buildings? Or
I sleep behind buildings and so on. And I'll be going to get an apartment. So that is something that I will.
Isn't it dangerous sleeping behind buildings for a woman?
It can be, yeah. but I definitely want it to end for sure.
How do you do it to stay safe out here doing that?
Certain timage, time.
Do you hang out with like groups of other people?
So she used to be a social media influencer, and now she's going to school, working fast food, prostituting in her spare time.
She wasn't aware of her daughter seriously dating anyone at the time of her death. She said she talked to her daughter the day before she was found deceased, and her daughter seemed fine. During their investigation, detectives discovered that Alana had a boyfriend, and his name was Billy Adams. They notified him that Alana was murdered, and they questioned him about his whereabouts at the time. He reportedly provided inconsistent statements, initially denying any knowledge of her death. Additionally, Billy claimed that he was not the father of the victim's unborn child, and asserted that he had not interacted with or contacted her for several months. Furthermore, Billy informed detectives that he remained at home throughout the entire evening of January 30th, 2023, and did not depart from the residence until the following day. Based on surveillance footage and records from the gated community, authorities assert that he used his father's vehicle on that evening. When confronted with this inconsistency, he allegedly claimed to have been out with friends, and even provided a video as evidence. However, police stated that the footage had been manipulated to show the date of the murder, when in reality, it was recorded on February 1st. Police further reported seizing Billy's phone, obtaining a search warrant, and uncovering his communication with a woman named LaKenya Brantley conversations, and discovered a potential motive for Billy to want Alana dead. In messages exchanged on January 29, 2023, Billy wrote, "Tomorrow this done." Other messages indicated Brantley's distress over the victim's pregnancy, while Billy expressed his desire to continue his life without including Alana. Brantley responded, stating, "This ain't the way, baby." Importantly, these messages occurred on January 29, 2023, and Alana was murdered the following day on January 30th. Furthermore, a cell phone extraction of Billy's phone revealed a search for the Easton Park subdivision on January 30th at 6:43 p.m., the same location where Elena's body was found. Billy initially denied having any contact with Alana on January 30th. Police confronted him with the contradictions in his statements, prompting him to eventually admit that he did indeed meet with her. According to authorities, he then claimed that he killed Alana in self-defense, just as he claimed in the double murder he was acquitted of prior. He claimed Alana had pulled a gun on him, and during their struggle, he shot her. However, when pressed to provide evidence supporting his account, he modified his statement. He then said that Alana initially brandished a gun, but he managed to disarm her. Subsequently, he shot her in the head, claiming it was an act of self-defense. When questioned about the whereabouts of the firearm, he stated that he discarded it while returning home after the shooting. Billy additionally acknowledged being aware of Alana's pregnancy and the potential possibility of being the father. Billy was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree.
From acquittal to arrest again, 9 days after Tampa rapper Billy Adams was found not guilty for a double murder, he's back behind bars tonight for 2 other deaths happening just days after he was set free by a jury. This is Nightside. I'm Carolina Lead.
And I'm Dave Wagner. Just hours ago, Tampa police arrested Adams. Tonight, 10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido explains why police say she may have been lured to her death.
Horrific. They say Tampa rapper Billy Adams admitted to pulling the trigger and killing 22-year-old Elena Sims, who was 5 months pregnant. They say he's shown no remorse.
It's not an easy thing to process.
9 days ago, Elena Sims' family was asking why.
So we don't really know why she was in that area.
But the arrest of Tampa rapper Billy Adams, also known as Ace NH, is bringing answers.
He did not want to be in her life anymore.
Tampa police detectives say Sims and Adams were known to each other. The 22-year-old was 5 months pregnant with a child she said was his.
Was not ready to, have a child.
That's the motive the 25-year-old gave police. Billy Adams, arrested at his parents' New Tampa home, now charged with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 1 count of death of an unborn child.
A dead mother that's 22 years old with a 18-month in the car, feet from her body for some time before she was discovered. It's awful.
Elena's family says she would have been 23 just a few weeks after she was murdered.
Didn't deserve for this to happen to her the way that it did.
3 days prior to her death,
The defendant is not guilty.
a sigh of relief from Adams after a jury believed his testimony, saying he shot 2 people at a home recording studio in self-defense.
I pulled out my gun and I shot us all in fear of Mr. Beast getting shot or myself getting shot.
Acquitted of double murder charges, detectives say Elena was made to think she would be going to a party to celebrate his freedom. She was found dead 8 miles away from the location she was told to go.
It does seem to us like she was lured there.
Billy is currently held without bond at the Falkenberg not guilty to all charges. A juror in Billy's previous double murder trial responded to Billy's new charges of murder, saying that nobody believed his story when he was acquitted of double murder the first time, but because the prosecution could not provide a motive as to why Billy would kill 2 random men in a recording studio, they had to acquit him.
No one on the jury actually believed Billy Adams' testimony, but we didn't have to believe his testimony. What we needed to find was proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And we could not find that.
It's a shame that he had to end up killing a pregnant woman only to finally get his karma. That's wild. I really think like it's impossible to kill 2 people and not just willingly do it again. Like, it's kind of weird.
And I even hate to do this to y'all. I told you, it's hypersexuality. These 2 have an OnlyFans. Apparently they're rappers. Rap ain't bringing in no money. They ain't bringing in no shows. Now what I'm about to show you, viewer discretion is advised. Absolutely disgusting. They've probably had sex with hundreds or not thousands of girls. They have an OnlyFans. Subscriptions is getting low. So I hit him in the DM. I was like, y'all want to come talk about this? He was like, absolutely. I guess they got the memo about me. And they say this type of kissing is not a form of sexuality or being attracted to someone. It's not sexual. It's not this. And besides, our OnlyFans subscriptions have gone up. So I'm like, this is what this was about the entire time? A group of hypersexual motherfuckers that are literally bored, that can't come unless they see certain things like this, and they are tapping into every market. What they don't know is that Florida loves to lock up some ancestral motherfuckers. And if they keep fucking around, Ron DeSantos will have to agree with him, them putting them under the jail.
So these are the island boys that she's talking about, and there's a rumor that these dudes are also these small children that used to be in Epstein, like on Epstein Island. They look a lot like these same little boys from then, and I don't know. I don't know. Them dudes are really sick, honestly. But yeah, it was sickening today, y'all. What we heard today was very sickening. Oprah, I'm still shocked at that story with that lady and be like that. Like, man, society, what is wrong with us? Why are we like this? It just, I can't do it sometimes. It scares me. But what doesn't scare me, well, it does scare me this weekend that I have to move. Y'all pray for my strength, please. I'm going to try to be back. It's going to be busy, but I'm going to try to squeeze in talking to y'all. Because, yeah, it's going to be a crazy week. But these are good problems to have. That's what I keep saying. So that's what we on. You guys have an amazing weekend, and hopefully your weekend isn't as busy as mine. Is it? And yet it's signing off. Toodles.